Welcome to the Modestly Magnificent podcast, the website for dreamers who take action. On this podcast, we interview people transitioning into new careers in the tech field. We learn about how they prepare their life for the transition, what courses they may take, how they stay motivated when faced with adversity, and the job searching process. Join me, your host, Tamar Buchanan, as we follow along on their journey. Welcome back, everyone, to the final episode of season 1 of the Modestly Magnificent podcast, where we are talking to different people pivoting into tech. Today, we have a very special guest because she is a fellow of the Data Science for All Empowerment Program that you all know I completed this summer. So we're going to be talking to Miss Christine Singh, and she has a really beautiful story. And she's going to share with us all of her tips and tricks for pivoting into tech, why she decided to move into data science, and all the things she learned along the way to help her with things like studying and staying focused. So let's get started. So welcome, Christine. Thank you for joining us today on the Modestly Magnificent podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So why don't we get started with a little introduction? Let us know who you are, where you're from, and where you went to school.
My name is Christine Singh. I'm from Riverdale, Maryland, and DC. I went to school in DC. I studied at Howard University and also at the American University. After that, I lived in Baltimore for a while. I was a teacher, and then I moved overseas to teach, and now I'm back in the States.
Wait, are you in Baltimore now?
No, I'm in Maryland.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, earlier I was in DC, but I've been in Maryland for the past few days, like PG County.
Oh, nice. Okay, I just moved to Baltimore,
How do you
like
like it?
3 weeks ago. Getting to know it. I'm getting to know it. It was a rocky transition. Let's just say that. But it's okay so far. Yesterday was the Baltimore Marathon. Yeah.
So like all the street, like North Avenue is probably closed down. People were running.
Yeah, everything. All of the things. And I was trying to get to the post office and that did not happen. But
yeah, you can't go anywhere when the Baltimore Marathon happens. Like it shuts down so many streets. You're just like, what can I do? Stay home.
Exactly. So that's cool that you taught overseas. Where did you teach?
I taught in Seoul, South Korea.
Oh, you taught in Korea too. Me too. What year were you there?
I was there 2018. So I went there in February 2018, and then I left in February 2019.
Nice. How did you like it?
It was different.
Yeah.
The culture is very let's see, not really accommodating for like personal needs. But it was interesting. Everyone has that same mindset. So it's kind of like, how much do you want to stand out in that society?
Right.
You already stand out being a person of color. So,
right. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be the only Black girl to like say, yeah, I need a personal day.
Yeah. Yes.
Take them.
I hear you. I feel the same way. Like I definitely had a lot of conversations in my head about my Blackness and like what that means to me and what that means to them. So yeah, it was a very
South Korea. Where you in?
I was in Ulsan, which is where the Hyundai Motors headquarters was. Yeah, it was a small city.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it, but I never visited Ulsan. I basically stayed in Seoul.
Yeah, because no one really goes to Ulsan. I can't even think what was very famous other than Hyundai Motors. I don't know. I used to just take the high-speed train into Seoul or Busan, which was not too far away.
I never went anywhere else in Korea, just went to Seoul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Because everyone wants to go to Seoul anyway.
Yeah, it was just an interesting time in life. Um, a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nonstop work.
So with your teaching, what made you decide to do teaching?
I studied English, and since that was my undergrad degree, I really loved writing. I really loved reading. I felt like it would be the perfect job for me because where else do you get to read books all day or stories all day? Only through teaching can you do that. And like I wanted to impart my love of literature and reading to other people. Um, so I did that in Baltimore and then in Cecil County. But I did it for maybe 4 years. I was in Baltimore for 4 years and then I was in
Mhm,
Cecil for one.
mhm,
By the time I got to South Korea, I was tired of teaching, to be
yeah.
honest. But I feel like if I would have done it in reverse, like I might have had a different experience. Like teaching in Korea was really easy compared
Mhm,
to teaching in Maryland.
mhm. Wow. Okay. So I remember from your it wasn't an interview that we did during our training program, but you kind of like shared your story. I forgot
Oh, that
what
was
that was, that presentation.
that final Saturday
Yeah.
where we did all the project presentations.
No, it was before that. You
Mm,
like did it was you and a
Oh,
couple other people. You like
yeah,
shared your stories.
yeah. That so the last one was the actual graduation ceremony.
Graduation. Yeah.
I shared mine at the final Saturday class. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was remember thinking like, wow, because you also shared that you had some moments of like not knowing what you wanted to do anymore and dealing with a little bit of depression, but then like through different a series of events, it led you to finding out about this program. So can you share a little bit more about that?
Sure. Um, in Korea, I was really um, isolated. I guess I would say like I didn't um, socialize as much as I could have, and after I taught for a year, I moved to Thailand and ended up getting stuck there. I was traveling around like Thailand and the rest of Southeast Asia. Like
Okay.
every other month, I would go somewhere,
Okay.
and I wasn't entirely by myself, but I wasn't with the best company. Um,
Okay.
so that kind of led to me feeling completely like lonely and just like in a place. I was physically in a place in the world where I felt like there was no one else that I could relate to or that I could
Mm,
talk to.
right.
Um, and at the same time, life is going on. Like COVID is happening, people overseas. I'm hearing about people that I know dying.
Mhm.
Thankfully, no one in my family had passed from COVID, but it's like I'm over here. I haven't seen my family in like 3 years,
Mhm.
and I really want to go back, but I just wasn't in a place to actually make the move until I
Mhm.
was.
Mhm.
Um, it was just really hard. Like when I came back, I remember like not having a plan, not knowing what I was gonna do. Um, I can't remember what they call. There's this community in Japan of adults who basically stay in their rooms at their
Mhm.
parents' house, and
Mhm.
they just stay in there all day.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, that sounds attractive to me. Like
Mhm.
that sounds like something I could do and still be able to exist.
Yeah.
So I came home feeling like that might be part of what I would do because it was just so it's such a low frequency um, and frame of mind. But people, my I told my best friend that I was coming home,
Mhm.
and um, he came to see me, and so did a couple of my other friends from high
Mhm.
school.
Mhm.
My sisters, they came like as soon as I landed, they came home, and everyone's like sending me different opportunities, just messaging me like, "Oh, look at this, think about this." And DS4A, I've always been interested in stories.
Mm, okay.
And a big part of my teaching was I had to gather data, I had to look at it, figure out what it meant,
Mhm.
and let that inform the way I would teach.
Mm, okay.
So I I just figured if I focused on the data, it could give me something else to like latch onto.
Okay.
And in the same space, I would be able to grow academically, and also I could, just grow my personality a little bit, force
Mm,
me to be more social, force me to, talk to people that I don't know, and to encourage other people to get through the program. Because there were times when people in my group were like, "Oh, I want to quit." And I'm the one like, "No, don't quit. Like,
yeah.
we need you. It's really
Yeah.
me. I need you. Don't
Yeah.
quit."
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my before DS4A kind of enduring.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you found a program, why did you decide to apply?
Um, I decided to apply because I went through a lot of I probably won't get in. Like, I don't know anything about coding. I was telling myself this. Like, I don't know anything about coding. I don't know. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at graphs and things. Like, I'm just telling myself all these negative
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was like, well, the worst that could happen is that I don't get in. And I was just looking at all of the worst things.
Mhm. Mhm.
But there's also something to be said for, what's in the silence. And in me saying the worst that could happen is I wouldn't get in.
Right.
Well, there's also the opposite of that. That could
Right.
happen. So I figured like just shoot an arrow in the dark and see where it lands. Um, and I ended up getting accepted or admitted into the program.
Yeah.
Which again, I was like, I'm not gonna tell anyone because I just have this fear of like I've gotten into the program, but what if it was a mistake? Like,
right.
yeah, just a bunch of hurdles that I had to uh, both overcome or jump over in
Mhm.
order to like make it to where we are now, where I'm
Mhm.
sitting here talking to you about my experience.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, beautiful. One of the things that I really loved about the program when I was reading like their mission and why they're doing what they're doing for free was that they're trying, apart from trying to bring in more people of color into this space, this data science space, is that and which we also learned more about when we were in the program, is that they wanted more people with like different perspectives, different who are from different career fields in this space. So I think it's cool that you, who had this background in teaching and this love for English and storytelling, had already been making the connection with using data to inform your work, and now you're in this program that's giving you, more tools, more training, so that you can, if you want to, continue to use those skills in teaching or to do other things. But yeah, I think that's so cool that so many of us in the program were from completely different career fields, completely
Hmm.
different backgrounds, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That we all belong here.
Yeah.